Alright, so Crimson Desert is finally here on consoles and PC, and I want to ask you something about the following gameplay and picture that you're looking at. Do you think this looks good to you? Are you enjoying the quality of picture I have here? Well, surprise, this is running on a base PlayStation 5 if you think this looks good. Now, let me not waste any more of your time and go ahead and share the settings with you. Gamers and game mats, what is going on? My name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video, I want to talk to you all about Crimson Desert and share some visual settings with y'all. However, if you want to stay updated on all things Crimson Desert, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get on into today's topic. So, before we get into the video, I do want to say I do have a lot of experience dealing with this engine on console, because I have put many hours into Pearl Abyss's MMO, Black Desert Online, which I've played primarily on console and have sunk many hours into on PlayStation 5 and Xbox One. Now, a few disclaimers I want to get out of the way is some of these settings will not apply to Xbox Series S and PlayStation 5 Pro, because Xbox Series S is the weakest of the consoles. It'll have limited options, and PS5 Pro will probably have more. So feel free to tune some of the extras if you're on either of those platforms, but this will mainly apply to mostly base PS5 and Xbox Series X users. And surprisingly, there really aren't too many visual settings in this game, so let's not waste any more of your time and get into it. We want to start over here, obviously, by coming into Settings, and we have our game set to Performance. Now, because this is an action game and the boss fights in here are said to be pretty difficult, you're going to want to play on Performance mode, getting the highest frame rate possible. That's right, the picture you saw was me running this game on base PS5 and Performance. Just to show you guys, the only real punishment you're going to get for playing this on Performance is some bit of blurry vegetation. So like the trees and stuff like that will be a bit blurrier. It affects the characters and everything else, but it's nowhere near as drastic as in other games. Come to accessibility, this is where you want to make the most changes, to make the game look at its best, especially during combat. Take the camera shake intensity and turn that all the way down. That's going to remove that annoying camera shake frame rate skipping look that, whenever you swing your sword or an enemy hits you or whatever. Leave your particle effects quality high unless, you're not crazy about too many effects going off on the screen. Go ahead and turn that down some to your liking. But me personally, I'm an MMO guy, so I like a lot of particle effects. And your blur intensity, turn that all the way down. That'll also give you a clearer picture. And one other thing that I can recommend is turning off depth of field. Now, depth of field is going to give that blur look out in the distance, but if you turn that off, as you guys can see, the distance is nice and clear. And as you can see, there's no crazy pop-in or anything like that, so the depth of field blurriness, in the background and everything, it's not really doing anything that drastically affects performance. Now, one other thing you can do that'll also, help keep your frame rate fairly high on some of the base consoles is turning off the blood effects. Blood effects just means, more stuff going on the screen and more performance being used. However, that's also part of, the immersion and the really gritty combat of the game, so you're probably going to want to leave that on. But I'm just saying, removing the blood sometimes, it does help with frame rate and, some action games, even MMOs I've seen and stuff like that. So, it's just one additional effect that you can turn down that'll keep performance pretty high. But like I said, blood won't affect anything too much. That's why I still have it on, and it looks absolutely fine. Now, I know I'm pretty early in the game to be making this video, but however, I've already done a few combat sequences with these settings on, and it looks pretty great. One other thing I can tell you guys is you also have the setting to deal with your brightness, but this is going to depend on your TV or monitor. Just so you guys can see, mine's set at 54, and I have a contrast of 58. That's the balance I got to get the picture that you guys see here. That looks pretty good. I did try putting the contrast a bit higher. It did start getting, super bright and super dark and, got a little bit too crazy. So this was a pretty good sweet spot for me. One other thing you do want to remember is do not try to adjust these settings when you're in that intro battle sequence at the very beginning of the game, because it's going to be either crazily dark or crazily light. and you're not going to get a good visual on how you're adjusting it. So wait till you get here into some of the open world area before you try and adjust the contrast and brightness settings and find a good balance for you. But anyway, guys, if this guide helped you, smash that like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.